Great. Hello, class. This is my interview. This is my dad here interviewing him.
Hi, I'm Dad.
It's easy, I guess. But anyway, I guess we'll get into it. So we'll start off with
It'll be fine.
Oh, okay. Technical issues, maybe.
No.
Let's start off with where have you moved from around in your life?
All right. So I grew up in northern Minnesota in a small town. Lived about 7 miles out in the country from a town that only had 2,500 people in it. That's where I went to high school. Went to church in a small town that was right there, about 100 people in it, and that was it. So moved from there, went to college, and then after college I went to Crystal Lake in the northwest suburbs here in Illinois. Much bigger town. And then after being there for 13 years, moved down here to Bolingbrook, Naperville area for my work as well.
All right. And for the moves, for both of them, what was one thing initially that struck you as very, very different from when you moved from Minnesota to Crystal Lake and then from Crystal Lake to Bolingbrook?
Well, moving from Minnesota to Chicago, the Chicago suburbs, was quite a difference. It's very flat here. Where I grew up, it was not very flat. I grew up about, 45 minutes south of Duluth. So it was quite hilly, lots of rocks, lots of swamps, tons of lakes, lots of woods. There were some farming areas too, but it was very different moving to the suburbs where it's like lots of city. Obviously it's grown up more since I've moved out here, but for me that was a huge city compared to where I grew up. I think some of the differences were just geographically it was very different. The pace of life is much faster in I'd say the Chicago area than it was where I grew up, where everybody's just kind of like, hey, when you get there, and that's just okay. Hey, how you doing? Sure. But I think that was kind of the biggest thing. It's just the topography was much different, and then the pace of life much faster, and the people are a little bit more intense here.
Did you notice any significant difference from Crystal Lake to here?
Yes. Crystal Lake is kind of I think a Naperville wannabe, or at least that's kind of how I would look at it. It's kind of what Naperville might have been maybe 30, 40 years ago, at least when I was there. It's kind of gotten more like it, but I'd say Crystal Lake was still kind of on the edge of farming communities and stuff, so it still had that a little bit more homey feel to me anyway. Than coming here where you're in the thick of it. I work in Naperville, so it's pretty intense, very fast paced. You got to always perform. You always got to do more, got to do better. Just keep pushing the edge. And like I said, very different from how I grew up.
Mm-hmm. And what is one thing? I know you talked about how it's a much more fast-paced environment. What's one difficulty or change that you experienced that you didn't expect?
Difficulty or change?
Like something like you might have had some like conceptions about the city of like, okay, it's probably going to be maybe not as relaxed because as everyone's.
I don't know if it was really. I think it was kind of expected, and when I was younger, it didn't really faze me much. I wanted to do more, wanted to, do more. As I get older, it's kind of like that fast pace is kind of like not looking as fun, and the slower pace might be better. But in terms of moving, I would say the move from where I grew up to Crystal Lake probably wasn't as big a jump as from moving from Crystal Lake to here, just because, like I said, it's fast paced. Crystal Lake was fast paced, but the Naperville area is crazy, where it's just that, and I had 4 kids when we moved here, so new job, new house. My dad died that year. It was like just like all the things at once, just craziness. Yeah. So it was pretty intense. I think that was pretty rough. So thinking that the pace of life might probably be similar from Crystal Lake to here, And when I got here, found out it was not quite that way. It was quite a bit more intense. And, after that first year was rough, and after that it's been fine. Uh, but yeah, that first year was an adjustment with a brand new baby.
Yeah.
And you were what, 3?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I guess one last question is, what sort of help did you wish you had gotten that you didn't get in helping you kind of adjust to the new environment?
The move from Minnesota to my first placement as a teacher at Emmanuel in Crystal Lake, um, I got tons of help from all sorts of people. I was a young new teacher coming in. I had met tons and tons of people when I came in for my interview. Actually had a job months and months before any of my friends. So it was like I had a job in like end of March, beginning of April, before I'd even graduated. So um, the people were just very much willing to just say, hey, what can I do for you? I had families that were very, very helpful in our congregation and in the school itself, as well as staff. Just were very, very helpful to, get that all going. The move from there to here was a little harder. I think probably because I wasn't just this young pup. I was a, 30-year-old, 30, 40, I don't know, somewhere in
You're
there.
30 something. You're
30 something,
40.
mid 30s and 4 kids. And, what time I did have, I spent with my family and didn't have a chance to go and spend it with some of those other people that would be like more, hey, let's come up and help you out. So I think that transition was a little rougher, more rough. Just due to that, I think, we don't have as much time to go out and build those relationships with those other people that really helped, I think, in the long run with my first job, because I had that time and had that going. So it took longer. It's not that it was awful. It just took longer for that to happen because you don't have that extra time when you have a big family. So, but it's been okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. I guess we're done.
I guess so.
Bye, class.